Hello and welcome to the Achieve Virtual Education Academy synopsis of our Thursday, November 13th, 2014 parent webinar titled Ready for Testing, trying to get students and families involved with our online school and program and give them some information and give them an opportunity to ask me, the principal, or our counselor, Ms. Goodnight, questions in a one-on-one setting. This quick synopsis is for our Teachers Weekly Update, so they can have a quick overview of what we covered and what students should know and have been told. It's also for any students in our November newsletter that might have missed the meeting and would like to get that information, or their parents, and you can view this video for just kind of a quick 10-minute synopsis of what was discussed and covered. Moving on, the 13th agenda was a quick welcome and introduction, and then I move on to discuss final exams, the what, when, where, why, and how, and then same thing with end of course assessments being the next topic, and then we ended with questions. But both of these, as we near the end of the semester, are pretty important for students to know how to do, what to do, and what they are and how they're different. So first I discussed final exams and kind of shared about why and what the final exam is. The final exam is kind of that final test for each individual course. So every class you take at Achieve Virtual has a final exam, and that final exam is the final proof of mastery of all the standards that the state says you need to know how to do in order to earn credit for it. So they are comprehensive, and they should cover all of the standards that you have practiced through in our courses. The final exam has to be proctored. When we were opened as a school back in 2011, the Indiana Department of Education approved us to be a school, and one of the defining questions was how are you going to do attendance, and the other was how are you going to know they're not cheating if they're sitting at home doing all the work. And our response to that was the proctored final exam. And that is why final exams have to be proctored at a location that is not at home, not by mom or dad, not by sister or cousin or best friend. You have to go to a location and have those exams proctored accordingly. You also need to know when you're ready for the final exam, and to decide that you need to be in communication with your teacher for each course that you believe you're ready for. Teachers require students to complete all of the course requirements. For some teachers that may be every single last schoolwork assignment. For others it might be all but 5 assignments, as long as you've shown mastery in all of the others. But you need to discuss that with your teacher and verify that you are ready for the final exam before going forward. The when and where, we discussed there's really 2 primary locations. There are others that you can think about, but they will cost money. Ben Davis High School, and for the extended day program, the evening school, we offer proctoring availability here. If you're not drivable distance to Indianapolis, or a reasonable drivable distance, you can try your local public library or other public libraries that might be near you that are willing to do that. Lastly, if you take your final exams or are planning on taking them at a local public library, we do ask that you take one of our test tickets with you. You can get these from our teachers. Our teachers can find these in their AVE teacher workroom within My Big Campus under resources, but the ticket is that kind of documentation, official documentation, if you will, for students to present to a librarian or their proctor at the library that gives them our contact information, a little bit about who we are. That way it's not quite so, who are you guys again and what is this for? And it should help the student have a much easier time in getting in to take their final exams without any issues. Lastly, on the final exam, I discussed the 2 primary options more specifically. Ben Davis, if you're coming here, you can test Monday through Thursday during regular school days. For instance, Thanksgiving Thursday, the evening school is not open. And then Friday is an option if scheduled with the individual evening school teachers. And then students would enter door number 23. Ben Davis is a very large building. For the second option, the public library near you, some libraries charge a fee. Some won't do it just because they don't have enough staff, and others will. And so you can get help from by reaching out and contacting those libraries first. I would not just show up to the library. You're going to want to make sure you call first, get the proctor's information, and that can be sent to your teachers so they can send the final exam password as well as any special instructions they might have. But it also gives the library a heads up that you're planning on coming in and taking a final exam. Students will need to obtain that proctor information as stated, and then again get that ticket. That will help when you show up at the public library for them to know who you are and recognize what you're there for. Two other options are Ivy Tech and Sylvan testing centers. They do charge fees per hour, but they will do it for you. We do not cover any fees since we offer a free testing site here, and most public libraries do. So if you do decide to take final exams at a testing center that charges, that would be on the student or family. Next, we talked about the end-of-course assessments and how they're different from final exams. Final exams, again, are at the end of each class that we offer. End-of-course assessments are the state exams. And there are 3 primary exams, and there are different windows throughout the school year that schools are allowed to proctor those exams. Our window, because we give a paper pencil version of the test, kind of looks like you see here. They are paper pencil with the bubble end. You bubble in your name. We have a 4-day window every time we give the test, and we give the test twice a year. And that is the second week in December and usually the first week in May, so towards the end of each semester. So the 3 exams required are algebra, language arts 10th grade, and biology. And what I covered here is the algebra and language arts. Those tests must be passed in order for students to earn an Indiana high school diploma. It's not enough just to earn your credits anymore. You must also pass these 2 tests. The biology, though it's important, it does not determine if a student fails it. It will not hold them back from graduating. It does not count towards graduation. In fact, students, if they do not pass biology, they don't retake it either. It's just kind of one of those one and done. And after this year, we will no longer proctor or give the biology exam. It will come off. Over the next 3 to 5 years, these exams will evolve into something more that will look more like a college and career readiness type exams, but for now they are what we've had over the last couple years. Algebra and the Language Arts 10, students will take these tests as they complete the second semester of that course. So Algebra 1, most freshmen are taking this at second semester, kind of in that May or June time frame for algebra. Language Arts 10, it would be obviously when students are sophomores, that second semester of taking the Language Arts or English 10-2 for us. If students have already taken those courses and earned credits but have not passed these classes, they are required to take or pass these tests, and students are required to take these tests again. Our first test date is Monday, December 8th, so coming up around the corner here, and our testing window again is 4 days, so Monday, December 8th through Thursday, December 11th. Monday, December 8th, we will test most students in both subjects or all 3 subjects if they need biology. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be makeup days here at Ben Davis High School. Again, the state and IDOE are evolving these tests, and students must pass the algebra and language arts to obtain their high school diploma. Testing rules and our plan, kind of the method to our madness. I have mailed out letters to all of our students, and those letters explain what tests the students need for this December testing period, where they will be testing, and what times those tests will be proctored. And so I'll kind of explain the method to our plan here in a second, but the testing rules, only school personnel can proctor these exams. So we cannot mail these states and sensitive material tests to a library and ask that they proctor them for our students. So our school personnel must travel to locations, or we must have everyone come here to Ben Davis High School to take the tests. We don't think that's fair, but it is impossible for us, based on our size and location, to travel to every student in the state of Indiana that we are in charge of. So what we do is, over our 4-day window, we split the state up into kind of 4 quadrants, and we travel to 4 different locations around the state. The center circle purple area is all the students kind of in this general area within an hour's drive or so of Ben Davis High School will take the test with Miss Goodnight here at Ben Davis. We also have another quadrant or section up here, a couple students in Lafayette, a couple spread out in here that will take the test at the Logansport Public Library. This group up here will take it at the Hammond Public Library. And we've got a large cluster kind of around Columbus, Bloomington, with a few outliers down here. We will test those students at the Bartholomew County Public Library. And then our three kind of in the northwest or southwest quadrant of Indiana, we're going to be at the Petersburg Library during the testing week. Again, letters with the specific date and time did go out to those students. If you believe you need one of these tests, if you're ready for it, if you've already taken the class and passed it, but you haven't passed these tests but did not receive a letter, make sure to contact our office and speak with Ms. Goodnight so she can more clearly explain what your testing plan is and where you'll be testing. Again, these are required for graduation, so it's very important that you try to make these. And hopefully that explains a little bit more as to the method, as to why we can't just travel right next door to everyone to proctor these exams. With a 4-day window and a lot of state to cover with a very small staff who can do it, we try to accommodate you by maybe you don't have to drive a full 2 or 3 hours, but you still might have to drive an hour to an hour and a half to get to one of our testing sites. Hopefully you understand. If not, certainly feel free to contact our office and we can explain it further or at least listen to your concerns. And so pretty much that's what we covered. I took questions at the end, and certainly if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call our office at 317-988-7144. Thank you for your time. Hopefully this was informative, and